Greetings fellow XNA coders, it's time to get into Visual Studio and start coding. So the first thing we needed to do, according to the plan, was load up some textures. So let's add our textures into our game directory. Here, let's add characters, and let's add some existing items. Now let's go to the CS folder. There's our character attacks and shadow, the textures we saw before. So down here to our texture loading area, let's put a new region called character textures and end off that region. Radio public static texture 2D SPR. What are we going to call this one? Let's call it character attacks and SPR character shadow. SPT is not quite what I was after. SPR sounds much nicer. Down here to our loading of the textures, let's go SPR character attacks equal to what do we do? We do content dot load. We load a texture 2D, and where is it? It's in textures / characters, and inside characters our character attacks is called character attacks. Close U, finish that one there off, and now we'll do the same for our shadow. SPR character shadow. There we go, that's our two textures loaded up there. Next up was into our actor class. We needed to give a frame rate, which was public static float frame rate equal to 1f divided by 12f, giving us 12 frames per second. Woo! There we go, that's much nicer. We need to add in a constant, and our constant should probably go on top of everything else, because it's constant. Const byte shadow opacity equal to 30. Ooh, 30f, just 30. 30 is much nicer. There we go. And what else do we need now? Let's go down to public static frame rate. We've already got U. Let's add in our... We don't need our draw area anymore. That's kind of irrelevant. But what we do want is a vector2 for our origin for our shadow. And then in our constructor, we don't need that anymore. So let's go origin shadow equals to new vector2. It's always going to be using the same texture, so we can just say character shadow dot width divided by 2, and then we'll use the next one as game1 dot spr character shadow dot height. There we go. That's going to give us the bottom center of our shadow graphic for our origin. And let's play with the draw. Let's not get rid of the entire thing, we'll just change what we need to. So SPR character shadow, using the same screen position, the draw area is going to be null because we want to use this full texture. We're not going to use color.white, we're going to say new color, using color.white, and if we scroll to number 6, I think it is. Nope, was it number 5? There, it was number 5, I went straight past it. If we use this one, we've got a color and we can use a float. Well, not number 5, where's it gone? Now I look bad. There we go, number 4. We can pass in our shadow opacity byte. And that's going to give us our nice shadow opacityness going on there. Everything else is right here. Rotation, vector2 is the origin, which is incorrect. We should set that one to origin shadow. One scale, sprite effects.none using the layer depth. Great. That's it for our actor, I believe. Yes, I'm just going to pretend it is and come back and fix it up if there is a problem. Into our game manager class. I don't want to load up these enemies anymore. Let's get rid of them. And into our player class. What do we need inside our player class? We needed to have an enum for player state. Which, as we said, was going to contain idle. We'll be adding more of those in later as we go. Let's set up some region here for our draw area constants. End region, and there's no real point for that to have some kind of random A capitalized, so we'll get rid of that. And there's still some constants after that, so let's put in another region called constants other, or just other constants. And hash end a region. And we'll collapse it, because I don't like it. I do like it, I just don't like seeing 3 lines of code when I could combine it into one less visual taking up thing. That's a technical term for it. Less visual taking up term thing. Let's put in here a const int draw height, HEIGHT, normal equal to 165, and our other one was const int draw width idle equal to 116. That's all we need for now, and we can make it also not as ugly looking. Our public static, not static, why would it be static? It doesn't need to be. It was our player state that I'm trying to go here. Player state, called state. There we go. We've got our player index, that's cool. Let's put in our texture details. And inside texture details, we needed to have a texture 2D called texture, so we know which one to draw. We need to have a vector 2 for our origin character, and we need to have a rectangle for our current draw area, and we need to have a float for our current frame time. Must have bumped caps locks there. And we need 4 ints. Int for our draw width, int for our draw height, int for our frame x, and int for our frame y. That should be everything we need there for our player in terms of fields. I believe it is. Let's set up our constructor here to have reset idle graphic, which takes in nothing. And let's make it right here. Private void reset idle graphic. What does it need to do? Well, let's tell it what it does in our summary. It resets player to its base idle state, awaiting player input. Inside reset idle graphic, we need to set the texture, so texture equal to game1.spr character attacks, because that's the one that's got the idle animation on it. We need to set ourselves the state equal to player state.idle in case we're coming from a different state. And then we need to set up the draw area. So frame x equal to 0, frame y equal to 0, draw width equal to draw width idle, draw height equal to draw height normal, and then we'll use our draw area equal to new rectangle. What do we need to do? We need to set our x, which is going to be frame. Well, that's instead of specifying what this one is, because we could just write 0, 0, draw width, draw height. What we're going to do is write frame x times draw width, frame y times draw height, draw width, draw height. We may as well steal this entire one and set it in its own little method as well, seeing as we're going to need to set this one quite a lot. Private void set draw area. There we go. And then from here, once we've defined our x, y, and our draw width and draw height, we'll say set draw area. There we go. Anything else I'm missing in here? Oh yes, we should specify the current frame time. Make sure it's set to 0, just in case we're coming from another animation, which if it had one more update, would have been on the next frame. So we need to make sure that we're just going to reset our timer on that. And I believe that's everything. No, we should also look at our origin. Origin character equal to new vector 2 draw width divided by 2 and draw height. We want it at the bottom center of our draw area. And that will be everything we need inside our reset idle graphic. And let's collapse. And in our update call, what do we need in here? Nothing. Well, none of this stuff anyway. For now. It can go away. And we want to put in a switch statement, basing it off state. So the first one was case player state.idle. Also the last one for now, because there is only one player state. And we were going to call move. Whoa, don't IntelliSense me. Game time, we're going to pass it. And doesn't know how to do a move yet because we haven't got anything. So let's put down here, private void move, taking in a game time. Calling it GT. There we go. And what is it going to do for now? It's going to animate idle, which takes in game time. And let's set up a region for our animations. And the first one we need is private void animate idle, taking in a game time, calling it game time. You know what else we should do? Instead of having this two up here, our draw area and our reset idle graphic just sitting there randomly, that's to do with animating it. So let's put that inside our animation area. I like that idea. I do like that idea. We can hide you and hide you and hide the summary of it there. Hey, and if we need to, when we're getting so many more animations in there, we can just collapse the entire thing. Very nice. What does our animate idle animation method, I should say, do? Let's make it do something. Current frame time plus equal to, we need to pass our game time over to a float. We'll put in game time dot elapsed game time dot total seconds. There we go. Current frame time. Have we gone over our frame limits? If our frame time limit, I should say, if current frame time is bigger than or equal to our frame rate, which is actor.frame rate. What do? We need to go to the next frame. Well, first we should make sure we just reset our frame time. So current frame time equal to 0, F. We'll move on to the next frame, frame X++, but we need to make sure, have we gone too far with our frame X's for this particular animation, frame X. If frame X is bigger than, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of them, so we'll go down. If it's bigger than 11, then we need to set our frame X equal to 0, because it's got to loop the animation. And if we have gone to the next frame, we should be setting the next draw area, so which was set draw area. That should be our animate idle taken care of, and let us make sure we've got our draw call set up correctly, because right now it's just telling me it's layer depth, which we don't need anymore, and it's drawing the shadow. So let's say draw character. And we'll put in sb.draw. What do we need to do? Use number 6. We can say use this one's texture. Our vector to position is camera.getScreenPosition using this actor's position. And we go to number 6. Our rectangle is our draw area. Our color is just going to be color.white. Rotation, not rotating you at all. Our origin is origin character, 1 scale, sprite effects dot none, and using our layer depth. There we go. Everything we need taken care of there, I believe. Let's run it and find out if I've missed anything. Just quickly build it. Building, build started. It's doing something. That was good. And let's play it. See if we got anything wrong. Title screen, begin game. I always say we're going to change that text size and we never do. There we go. Check it out. He's bouncing on the spot. Arms up. He's ready to kick some ass. But he can't kick ass right now. If we move the stick in any direction or press the arrow keys, it doesn't do anything. Buttons on the key on the gamepad aren't doing anything because we haven't set them up yet. So this concludes this video. That's basically all we needed to do. Actually, first, let's get rid of his shadow. Check it out. It shows you where he is in the world. There's some kind of, he's casting his shadow on the ground. Let's comment out draw shadow so it never goes and draws a shadow, and watch how he looks on the ground now. He's somehow just floating. He doesn't look like he's part of the environment in any way at all. So by adding in the shadow, it just gives it that little extra sense of depth. I know it doesn't look real as in perfectly realism, but it gives a sense of realism to the scene anyway, because people cast shadows. And that will conclude this video, guys. In the next one, we're going to set up the jump animation and get the character walking around on the screen. So I will see you there, guys.